technologies. And I'm going to, with no further ado, hand it over to Dr. Peng.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. I want to begin today's presentation with one question. What is America's favorite pie? Apple it is. Okay. Indeed, apple pie is number one, the most favorite pie in America. Why? How do we know? We know this because of the accounting data. We look at supermarket sales, and Apple is number one. Okay, and there's no contest. However, we know that supermarket started to sell like those individual size 5-inch pies, and when that happens, apple pie fell into like 4th or 5th. Why? Think about that for a moment. Well, when you want to buy this 12-inch apple pie, the whole family has to agree to it, right? And apple is everybody's second favorite. So when you have an opportunity to buy individual size 5-inch pies, then you can get your number one. You can get the number one. You don't have to pick your second favorite. Okay. So how do we know this? We know this again because we have the accounting data. We know the supermarket sales. We analyze sales data, and from new data, we learn new things. Okay? So that is going to be the topic of my presentation today. How does data analytics help accounting? And how do we use technology to record, to track this kind of data to help business? Okay, so technology is the key. Okay, what kind of technology is used to record data, to capture data, to process data? I have this. I have one little computer right here. It's an individual size computational device. Okay, compared to the video which shows the year-end procedure at the 19th century Chinese bank. Of course, it's from a movie called Empire of Silver, which I enjoyed a lot. Okay, so we have this accounting technology to help people do calculation. It doesn't do any storage though, but it does help people do some kind of accounting task. Okay, but then now, 20th century, we have computers that fills out the whole room. No space for anybody to do anything, and it takes days for simple operations. Okay. Well, technologies continue to evolve. In the 1990s, I don't know if anyone recognized things like this. Floppy disk is used to record for data storage, and most importantly, is the heart of personal computers. Okay, I remember when I was in middle school, I begged my father to buy me a PC. At that time, you have to put one of these into the computer in order to run the computer. Okay. At that time, we had the one I really want was a PC with about 2 megabytes of hard drive. Okay, so you don't have to put this in. You can use an internal hard drive, only 2 megabytes. But it was too expensive. We can't afford it. So we get one without hard drive, and this will work. Okay. But today, computers start to evolve so fast, now we have.
This is your wake-up call, pal. Go to work.
From that bulky handheld device to the iPhones now everybody has, it takes about 24 years. Okay? And in these 24 years, what have happened? The weight of that device dropped down by 85%. The price was down by 2,093%. And the storage increased by 10 to the power of 9%. So I don't know if anyone recalls, I used to own one of these early cell phones, and it is so cool that you can store telephone number. You can store like 10 telephone numbers, and that's it. And that's considered a high-end model. 10 telephone numbers, that's the only thing you can store. Okay? But today your iPhone is much more powerful than any of those bulky machines used just decades ago. So technologies evolve, but where do we find accounting data? Where do we find accounting information? Accounting information in modern day systems, you find that in the ERP system. What is an ERP? ERP is simply is simply to use computer technologies to link all business functions, all business systems together, so you have one central location of business data, and it provides access to everybody in the organization. Instead of one individual information systems that every business function uses, now you have one centralized system that provides business software to everybody. ERP came to significant visibility in the mid-1990s, and it completely changed how accounting data is stored and used. Before the ERP, accounting system can only capture summary data. We do this every month, every quarter, every year, but because of the ERP system, we are able to capture a lot more operational data from the time sale is placed to the time that a bill is paid. Okay? So ERP system is the source of accounting data today. If you want to find financial accounting data, you go to the ERP system. Just in 2000, about 25% of business transaction data is stored electronically. And that number jumped to 98% in 2013. So a lot more business transactional accounting data is stored electronically today. And they are just structured data. What is a structured data? Structured data is a data that has high degree of organization. You already have all the data you define, and you are able to easily capture from the source document, from the outside sources, and process them internally. Okay? But structured data only accounts for about 1/5 of usable business information, business data. So a lot more usable business information comes in unstructured format. Unstructured data such as email, video, audio, XML, Facebook postings, Twitter tweets, all kinds of usable business data now stored in or coming in unstructured format. Okay, so that is a potential for accountants to utilize the business intelligence. So you guys probably saw this before. In every 60 seconds, 168 million emails are sent. 510,000 comments are made on Facebook. and 370 and 98,000 tweets tweeted on Twitter every minute. So the volume, the sheer volume of data is just unimaginable. Okay. So Schmidt, who is the CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, he said that every 2 days now we create as much information as we did from the dawn of civilization until 2013. Okay. He was the CEO of Alphabet Inc., formerly known as Google, and that quote tells how much information is produced and stored somewhere and retained for a long period of time. Big data, that's the term. Everybody heard about it, everybody thought about it, everybody wanted to find a way to tap into the power of big data. But exactly how big is the big data? You know, we use a lot of terms to describe like the big data, how to utilize these huge data sets. We easily fall into trap of flippantly around terms like gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte. But the true difference is really impressive. Okay, if this tiny little dot here represents the gigabyte of data, which is the common volume of ERP transactional data that we use in business. The terabyte would be like, if the gigabyte is 10 inch in diameter, then terabytes are 800 feet in diameter. Okay, it's a regular size of data warehouse used for business intelligence and data analytics. But a lot more data in unstructured format is stored in petabyte. So that would be, the diameter would be 150 miles long, ranging from, you can imagine that distance, and you may imagine the volume of data. It's populated by automated mass data collection using sensors, cell phones, a lot of other devices, interconnected devices, to capture and store data. Unstructured data that need to be explored, can be explored, and need to be explored. So this unstructured data comes in a various format, like video, I mentioned video, audio, Twitter tweets, Facebook posting, Facebook likes, or sensor data like the Fitbit you wear, the GPS tracks. All kinds of this unstructured data can be used in accounting. Okay, video data, for example, can be used to analyze business and audit risk. For instance, you can analyze periodic interview of executives, okay? And from their expression, you can extract content, emotion, and deception from executive speeches. And from the speeches, you can get an idea about the business and the audit risk. Okay? So analyzing video data from interviews provides some clue, non-accounting, non-structured information that complements traditional audit data. The video data can be used to analyze performance evaluation. For example, the workplace videos can be used to analyze employees who spend the most time around the water coolers. Okay, guilty. Okay. So that provides information, valuable information about productivity, information about, it could be used for performance evaluation. Videos that track inventory flow can provide information about the throughput, can be analyzed, can be used to analyze bottlenecks. And of course, surveillance video can be used to analyze who and how often restricted areas are accessed. And then some computer algorithms can be used to analyze company-related images and how they are used or how they appear on discussion forum uploaded by customers. So those data could be used to analyze the product usage trends, can be used to estimate product returns, things like that. Audio data. You find a lot of different kinds of audio data today. For example, cognitive dissonance in speech patterns of chief executives has been found to predict the likelihood of financial statement restatements. Okay? And positive and negative affective states in earnings conference calls has been found to be correlated with stock returns. So this sentiment analysis from speeches, from audio, from video, they do provide some additional information that cannot be found or used before. But because of the technology, because of how we capture data, how we use data, it becomes available today. Text analytics is another emerging field. Text analytics is to use machines, use software to read text and find out the patterns in textual disclosures and use that information for business decisions. Okay. For example, one of the research I read, they use a machine, they train a machine to read 140,000 annual reports and analyze the content, do some text mining, and find out that could be used to predict the firm's financial performance. No way any human can read 140,000 annual reports. I don't know how long that will take, but it is possible to use text analytics, to use technologies to read that information and find the pattern that could be used. Another example, they read 28,000 annual statements, and from the sentiment analysis, they find that can be used to predict stock price. Well, in addition to transactional data, such as the accounting data, debit and credit, asset, liability, revenues, net income, we have operational data from ERP systems. And in addition to operational data, now we have sensors. We have sensors everywhere, and they are interconnected, the Internet of Things. Okay, Internet of Things. You have sensors installed on shelves, inventory shelves, and weight sensors can detect, for example, the inventory is running low, and then an automatic reorder could be triggered. So without any human involvement, the business transactions could be conducted because the sensor sense there's time to reorder activities. GPS installed on truck delivery trucks could be used to analyze, can be used to plan delivery route, could be used to manage the fleet of trucks. And RFIDs, for example, sends tiny signals, and with a scanner, you can capture, you can record exactly where the inventory is, on which shelf, in which area, ready to be shipped or ready to be picked, or you can analyze where the inventory item is located with a scanner. So you can confirm the inventory, and you can use that to measure a cost of goods sold. So you guys learn about FIFO, LIFO, weighted average, all those different kinds of inventory valuation methods. But if you have RF sensors like RFID attached to every inventory item, then there's no need to estimate using FIFO or LIFO, right? All you need is a sensor, and you can do specific identification easily. Okay? You don't even have to calculate. The sensor can send the data to the computer system, to accounting system automatically. In management accounting, management accountants, they use accounting data, traditionally internal accounting data, to, for example, do their budgeting. They need to forecast sales, and based on the sales forecast, they could produce the financial budget. Well, not just the internal data. Today, there are a lot of external data sets available, from satellite to climate information, to customer information, macroeconomic indices, labor relations. They can be used to help produce better budget. The budget that is based on better estimate, based on more comprehensive data sets. So really, big data is just big data. Okay? How do we tap into the power of big data? Okay. Push the button. So big data is really like this Lego bricks. Okay, and well, for some building gurus, they would call this sophisticated interlocking devices. Okay, so for these sophisticated interlocking devices, they are individual pieces, right? Without putting them together, they're just individual pieces. And let me see how people can do this. Okay. Let's see how long it takes for them to give us some meaningful results. Okay, time's up. This is from Luke, okay? And this is from Professor Abdullah. This versus this. What's wrong with you, Luke? You have any childhood or? Too much hockey, huh? Oh, it moves. Stop. Stop. Oh, don't fall. Okay, that's enough. Naughty robot. So these interlocking devices, they are like the raw data before they are put together. But if you put them together, whether it's this or a robot like this, which Professor Abdullah is able to put together in like 3 seconds, that totally changed everything. That is the power of data analytics. Okay? So data analytics is nice. It is nice to learn how to use big data, but it is equally important to know how to tell a story from the data. Okay? To tell a story from the data, you have to use some tools. Tools like data visualization that can show the users the story behind the data. Individual data pieces are just like these Lego bricks, But if you are able to analyze and put them together, it becomes something useful and fun. Okay, so I have some data sets here that I can show you. Okay, here I have this spreadsheet that's is a traditional sales data. Okay, it's a huge data set that has about 50,000 records in this data set. Okay, and this data, if we can analyze this data using some data visualization tools, okay, if I import the data into the tool, into my data visualization, and I want to look at orders, again, 50,000 plus records. I have the order number, order date, when it is shipped, and to whom, and what are on this order. Okay, I can analyze and tell some stories about the sales. Okay, maybe I want to know what kind of product were on these transaction files. I want to know the sales in terms of the quantity. So I'll put them in rows and columns. It gives me, okay, the company has the biggest sales in terms of the quantity comes from office supplies. Okay, and it is presented in a visual way. I can further slice and dice the data to include maybe the segment, market segment. So now I have a more granular data. So from consumer, corporate, home office, and 3 different market segments. I can maybe analyze more different market. So I can tell that from this picture, Canada is our emerging market. Can even make it more visualized by using different colors. Okay. So very easily, the data visualization creates some presentable results to business users. Okay, I can do more. For example, I want to know maybe over time how well we're doing in terms of sales. Okay, so I can put my sales, and the software is able to query the database and calculate that in total, the company generated about $12.5 million in sales. Okay, but how is it? What's the result over time? Put the order date by year. We can see our sales continue to grow from 2011 to 2014, which is nice. I can maybe get quarterly data instead of annual data, or I can maybe get monthly data. So it gives me the trend over time in our sales. Okay. But maybe I want to know the trend of sales over years, so I can put the time into this picture. Now the different color shows the sales in different years, and from this data we can tell there's some sort of seasonalities here in July, August, somehow. So it could be used to provide some additional information maybe the sales department, marketing department can use. Okay. How about what about the sales in different categories? Okay, so the sales in furniture, office supplies, technologies, easily you can slice and dice the data to provide more insight into the business data. Okay, in addition to this picture format, I can put them in tabular format. Okay? Some people would prefer to look at the tabular format. So again, can switch the time, input put the year and month, remove. So now I have monthly data. I have monthly data in different market segments and presented in a tabular format. Maybe I want to add some more colors. How about profit? So add profit to my table, and you can see that the table is able to process the profit data. Maybe this is not very clear, so I can change the color. Maybe in 6 different scales. So now all the numbers in red maybe is something the managers need to look into. Okay, so it tells a story that it looks like the furniture, the sales is in some trouble, and how is it across the board? So if I want to look at the category and profit, so it's easier to see that how about our sales across the national boundaries. Okay, so in the United States, in Europe, in other parts of the world, maybe I want to add more information about sales in different states. Change the size, make it bigger, change the color. So now the data is easily visualized, and the users is able to, you can even create a dashboard like of the data portal so that the users can explore the business data, and it tells the story much more easier than you spend hours explaining what is going on. So not only you want to know the power of big data, you want to have the skill needed to tell the story from the data set. Okay. Another thing I want to mention is, how about the financial data? What about the accounting data? Well, remember that when you do some shopping, when you go to the store and do some shopping, you shop, and then when you check out, the cashier will scan the barcode on the items you want to purchase. From that scanning, you have the business document like sales receipt generated. Okay. XBRL is something for that can be used for that purpose as well. So XBRL is like a scanner Today, you can use your telephone, your smartphone, and you can scan the barcode, and you are able to see what's behind that barcode. XBRL put all the financial data, financial statements into the scanner, and you have the analysis easily. So you don't have to find out the annual report. You don't have to retrieve financial statements manually, find the data you want, manually put them together, and conduct your financial analysis. If all of that financial data is tagged, if all of that financial data has a tiny little barcode behind every piece of financial data, then all you need is really a scanner that can be used to scan automatically the accounting data, and then the result will be produced. And it also increases the transparency so that the accounting numbers cannot be hidden by executives or there's no, you won't be able, the bad guy won't be able to hide the real information. Okay, so traditional financial statement, when they are tagged, when we put every barcode to every number, and all you need is a scanner. A scanner scans the accounting data, then the analysis is produced automatically. Extensible business reporting language, something every accountant needs to know how to use, how to create, and how to analyze. So, what now? For us accountants, when we are still in college, what can we do to increase our competitiveness? What can we do in the data-driven age? Okay, PwC says these are the few things you can do. Of course, you want to have a solid foundation of the business knowledge. You want to know the business innovations, you want to know entrepreneurship, you want to know how business develop, you want to gain the insights of different kinds of business. And you want to be a student of how the world works economically, socially, culturally, and technologically. You want to have programming skills. You want to know how to handle those basic programming tasks. You want to have core skills in legacy systems like spreadsheet, relational database, SQL. And of course, if you are going to handle huge volume of data sets, you want to have strong statistics knowledge. You want to know how to conduct univariate, multivariate, regressional analysis. You want to have those skills while you are still in schools. Every Big Four, they publish a white paper like this, talking about the challenge of big data to the accounting profession, to the audit profession, and what students can do to be ready for that challenge. So I encourage everyone to take a good look at your core skills, what you are going to need, and how to get those. Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions? Or?
The round of applause for Dr. Peng. Thank you guys so much. We have 2 more items on the agenda this afternoon rather. Raffle tickets, first for the shirt, second for the phone case cover, which is a hot item this morning. So the first ticket, 608062. Do we have a winner? In the back? All righty. Take up to the front and they'll hand you your shirt. Second ticket, 608070. Do we have a winner? No? Going once, going twice in the back? All right. Head to the back, show them your ticket, and you'll be good to go. Thank you guys so much.